This is John Colo with DiscountJuicers.com. Today I have another exciting episode for you. I always love when I get a brand new juicer in, and I just got the all-new Fruitstar juicer in to share with you guys. So it just came in. We're going to go ahead and do the unboxing, share with you more about the Fruitstar and why I like it as a fruit juicer. So as you may know, it's actually called the Fruitstar. It's put out by the company Tribest, who also makes the Green Star juicer. Now don't confuse the Fruitstar. It is called Fruitstar for a reason. It's meant for juicing mostly fruits, and they have a Green Star juicer meant for, guess what, juicing mostly, yep, you got it, greens. So this machine is definitely good at juicing fruits, and what we're going to do is we're going to juice a lot of different fruits in it today. Number one, we're going to juice probably the #1 consumed juice, or fruit juice, in America, oranges. But this makes a very special orange juice that we'll share with you in a second. And then we're going to juice this big guy, man, look at this guy. This watermelon is bigger than my head, and we're going to juice this watermelon up to have some rich, lycopene-rich watermelon juice. Watermelon is juiced excellent in the Fruitstar. In addition, at the end, we're also going to juice a small and quick vegetable juice with some fruits and some vegetables. And so the main thing about the Fruitstar is that you want to remember, you want to juice mostly fruits. If you want to juice mostly vegetables and wheatgrass and leafy greens, this is not the juicer for you. You want to look more towards the Green Star Elite Juicer, and soon enough I'll have a video on YouTube comparing specifically the Fruitstar to the Green Star when juicing fruits and or vegetables in them. Anyways, let's go ahead and talk more about the Fruitstar today while we unbox it. So the first thing I want you guys to realize is that on the box it says straight up BPA free. Now I know many of you guys may be concerned about, BPA and the plastics because of the big, BPA scare and whatnot. And on this, unlike some other juices that advertises BPA free, Tribest has truth in advertising, which I like a lot. It says BPA free feeding chute assembly and containers, so that's definitely good. It says auger housing is Eastman Triton, BPA free. So that means all these pieces here and here are BPA free, as well as the catch containers that we'll see in a second. But then down below it says auger and screen frame Ultim virtually BPA free. So there are other juices on the market that just say BPA free as a blanket statement, which would lead you to believe that the whole thing is BPA free, but yet they use the same Ultim material in their auger. So technically, their auger would be virtually BPA free, much like the Fruitstar juicer. So let's go ahead and unbox this guy. Now the Fruitstar juicer is called a vertical single auger style machine. Now yes, if you're saying, John, this looks like some other vertical single auger style machines on the market, what's the difference? Well, they're all basically the same. They have a vertical auger that crushes out and squeezes out the juice, and the only other differences are the manufacturers that importing them and are supporting the warranty. Also how long the warranty is, the power of the motor, but more importantly how it works. In the future I hope to have some demonstrations showing the Fruitstar compared to other machines. But for now, we're going to just show you the Fruitstar. So the first thing you're going to get with the Fruitstar is the instruction manual. Always encourage you guys to read the instruction manual. Let's go ahead and start taking these pieces out. Here's the top housing, the feed chute housing. This is a BPA free. Let's see. Oh, with this machine, unlike other vertical augers, you do get a strainer. One of the things to realize that with any vertical auger slow juicer, it's always going to create some of the most pulp out of any juicer out there. So if you don't like pulp, you probably want to avoid one of the vertical single augers. But at least with the Fruitstar, they do give you a strainer in the box, so that's really nice. Let's see, coming out further, we got the collection cups. Now these collection cups, once again, are BPA free as well. So in addition, we got the pusher, and the pusher goes into the housing there. Now the thing I want you to remember now with most vertical auger juicers, that you really want to throw away the pusher. Because you don't want to use the pusher, because if you're using the pusher to push things in, you're probably pushing things too quickly. You definitely don't need to be using the pusher to push things in the vertical single auger style machines. Next in here we have the Ultim auger and the Ultim screen housing with the stainless steel screen. Now once again, these are the Ultim material that the manufacturer advertises as virtually BPA free. And finally, in the box comes assembled just like this. Is the actual machine itself, and it actually on the back here has a nice handle so that you can carry it easily. And we're going to go ahead and, oh, and almost forgot, you got a special toothbrush looking cleaning brush that's very important to clean your screen out. Let's go ahead and move this box out the way, and we'll show you guys how easy this is to assemble. So now we're going to show you guys how to assemble the machine. The main part of the machine you're going to assemble is this whole top assembly. Now it's very important to do this properly, because if you don't, the machine will not turn on because there's a built-in safety switch. So the first part you're going to take is the automatic wiping blades, and actually these are pretty nice because they actually go around the screen, and much like the windshield wipers on your car, they go around to keep the screen clean automatically. Also, you're going to have the auger that goes inside the screen. Once you have this all assembled, you're going to pay attention to the red dot on the top of the screen, and there's a red dot on top of the housing here. And you're going to very simply line up these two dots, and then the screen will basically set in to this housing, much like that. You see the two red dots are lined up. Then all you're going to do next is you're going to take this top housing here, and once again another red dot. So line up the three red dots at this point, and we're going to line them up like that, and then we're just going to turn this, and now we have one whole assembled machine. So this is very easy to assemble. The next point is that you're just going to take this part, and we're going to take the hang tag off, which actually has assembly instructions, and put this on the machine. And now the thing to remember with this is that there's a little, now you're going to look at this little arrow in the back here. There's a little arrow in the back here on this little tab, and then there's an arrow on the back here. And you're going to line up this arrow on the back here with the open tab on this side. And once you got it lined up, it's lined up with open, then you're going to rotate it to the left to close. It's going to snap into place, and you're all ready to juice. Now unassembly is just basically doing the exact opposite. You're going to go ahead and rotate this off to the open. You could take this off, take this to your sink to wash it all off. Once again, you're just going to rotate so that the red dots line up, because we're unassembling. And then you can just pull these parts out for easy cleaning. Now the one thing to remember is that you want to pay attention to this cleaning brush. It's the most important thing you have that comes with the machine. The hardest part to clean on any machine is actually the juicing screen, because that's where the pulp gets stuck. So this is actually a nice hard fibrous brush that you're just going to scrub the screen with all the way around to dislodge all the pulp when you're done. Now it's very important to do this, because if you don't, what's going to happen is you're going to get pulp buildup, and it's going to clog the holes. And when it clogs the holes, then that means you're going to get reduced yields in the future. So it's very important to clean the outside and then also the inside of the machine. Now we're going to go ahead and reassemble this, and we're going to make some orange juice. Now we're almost ready to juice. Don't forget about using your two collection cups. So one collection cup is actually larger than the other, and this one is to catch the pulp. The pulp comes out of the chute that is actually kind of rectangular, so we're going to put that right below it. And then this one has a little pour spout on it, and that goes to catch the juice. And the juice catch spout is the one that's circular. So we're going to go ahead and put that right underneath there. And now we're totally ready to juice. The last thing you may want to consider is this strainer. Some people would prefer to put the strainer like right underneath, so as the juice comes out, it actually strains the juice. So when you're done, you actually have strained out juice. And other people, what they'd rather do is actually going to take their strainer and pour it over their glass once they got all the juice that's unstrained, and then pour it through the strainer. So either way you could do it, whatever you prefer, but that's to strain out extra pulp if you don't want it. What we're going to do today is we're just going to juice the oranges without any straining. No straining is necessary. I like some texture in my juice sometimes. Now, we got an orange here, and if you go down to the standard grocery store and buy a carton of orange juice, many of it may be actually from concentrate. And basically the more the food is processed, the more nutrition you lose. So it's always best to actually make your own juice at home. Although some of the juices at the store may be not from concentrate, which is better yet, but even better than that would be to juice your own. But let me tell you a secret about some of the juices that are sold at the store. Actually, all of the juices sold at the store that are orange juice. What they simply do is they cut the orange in half, much like I'm doing here. They simply take the orange, and they literally just take it and they squeeze out all the juice. Now check it out. To them, this is orange juice right here. And that's what orange juice looks like, right? Orange juice looks like, orange colored water that tastes sweet. I'll taste it and I'll let you know. It's definitely good orange juice. These are some organic oranges. But for many people, that's what orange juice is. But when you have the Tri-Best Fruitstar juicer, you can make a real orange juice. What I would consider that is literally orange water, because you're literally taking the orange, you're squeezing it, and you're only getting the liquid part of the orange. You're not getting all the nutrition. Now, for those of you guys that know where's the most nutrition in an apple, by the skin, of course. Well, guess what? In the orange, it's also by the skin. So we want to juice the orange with the skin and all. Now, while we can juice the skin and all of the orange in the machine, we don't want to do that because there are indigestible chemicals in the skin. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to actually take our knife or, you know, a vegetable peeler like potato peeler, and we're just going to peel off the orange coloring of the orange. As you can see, when I do that, what we're doing is that we are revealing the white pithy part. Now, the white pithy part is where all the bioflavonoids are in the orange. It's the most nutritious part of the orange. But, you know, most orange juices are not using this part. They're disposing of this part. And that's why I like juicing my own oranges, because you're going to have the full 100% orange juice, not just simply in orange water. So let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and carefully cut off the coloring of this orange, and I'll show you guys. Alright, so now you can see there's the coloring in the orange, and here's just some of the skin I shaved off. Basically, you want to leave all the white pith on, and you want to take off just the coloring. Now, if you are juicing tangerines or grapefruits, you also want to cut off the skin. But if you're juicing lemons and limes, you can juice those skin and all. Those chemicals are not present in the lemon and limes, and we could digest those fine. Now, if, for example, you did juice some of this, don't worry. You know, the main thing that's going to happen is you may be bloated, have gas, and belching. So, if you have an ex-best friend coming over, juice some oranges up with the rind. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and juice this guy now. To use the Fruitstar by Tri-Best, really simple. There's a switch, the off and on button, and there's an off, a forward, and a reverse. In general, the reverse is momentary. You're going to hold the reverse down, and that's only if the machine gets stopped or clogged. In general, you're not going to use the reverse. You're just going to push it to forward. It's going to turn on, and it's all ready to go. Now, you may notice this juicer is actually fairly silent. This is about 55 decibels and is also known as a silent juicer. Many juicers may sound literally like an airplane taking off in your kitchen, but not the Tri-Best Fruitstar. So we're just going to go ahead and cut this orange up in a few pieces here and drop it in the feed chute. Once again, no pushers required. This is literally self-feeding if you cut the produce properly. And as you can see here, I have a couple more oranges that I've just cut off the skin coloring, but we got the white pith. I'm going to juice these guys up for you. Alright, so we're just about done juicing our oranges in the Fruitstar juicer. As you can see, it's happening really nice. Over on this side, the juice is coming out. And over on this side, the pulp's coming out. And I want to show you this pulp. I mean, literally this pulp is really dry. Can't even squeeze out any more juice. I mean, this is the stuff. Actually, you could eat this stuff if you want. Doesn't taste good at all. It's very fibrous and but I can't wait for the juice. But yeah, nonetheless, this pulp is actually very dry in the Fruitstar. Got two last pieces of oranges of juice in the Fruitstar. See our deep, rich colored orange juice coming out. Now, for sample purposes and to show you guys the color difference, we're going to take the other half of the orange we didn't juice in the Fruitstar, and we're just going to go ahead and squeeze that into this glass here. Just the standard way that, you know, most people juice their oranges, whether you're using that citrus reamer that goes rah, 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 or a juice press, or just buying the, you know, orange juice at your store. This is what they're doing. They're literally just squeezing out the orange into a glass to get the orange water. Now, yes, this is absolutely sweet, and there's some nutrition in there, but it's not as rich as the juice you can make with your Fruitstar juicer. Alright, so I think we got a lot of the orange juice out of there. You can kind of see the color on that. I'm going to go ahead and stop this guy. Now, one of the things I like to do when I'm finished juicing in the Fruitstar is I'm going to go ahead and tip this machine up a little bit. We may get a little bit of a juice dripping out of there, which is good. The other thing is, as soon as I remove the juice collection cup, I'm going to move over the pulp collection container and let any drips go down in there. what I want to do for you guys now is actually show you the texture of this juice. Nice and thin, no big chunks. And more importantly now, I want to show you guys the difference in the color. So I don't know if you can see the difference in the color on that, but I could clearly see that. The one on this side is more rich and full-bodied, and the one on this side is almost more translucent, almost see-through. So I mean, that's just some of the nutrition in here. Now it's also going to taste a lot different. I'll go ahead and taste the standard orange water first. I mean, it tastes good. It's kind of watery, a little bit of sweetness, and you can taste the orange, of course. Here's the orange juice made with a Fruitstar juicer. Much more rich, full-bodied. You feel a little bit of the texture. It's not quite as sweet because, you know, the orange juice or the orange water is tempered with the white pith part. It makes it kind of frothy and fluffy. Oh, it's so delicious. Man, so good. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and clean this up, and we'll be back at you next to show you guys how to juice a huge watermelon. Now we're back, and we're going to juice this ginormous watermelon. Now, watermelon's one of my favorite things to juice on a hot summer's day, especially if your watermelon was in the ice box, or otherwise known as your fridge, to keep it nice and cold. This will give you 100% natural juice, rich in lycopene and other essential nutrients. They're going to keep you fueled throughout the day, unlike other canned and bottled juices and even sodas. So the first step is we're just going to go ahead and cut this watermelon open. Got a knife here. And now before I cut this open, I want to mention that, you know, one of the reasons why I like to juice the watermelon is because watermelon is very high in water. Water, in my opinion, is an essential nutrient. We all need to stay hydrated, and many people don't drink enough water. And you know, most people don't want to drink enough water because it doesn't taste good. And that's where the juicer could come in. It can make things like watermelon juice, like real orange juice, like pomegranate juice, like carrot juice, and allow you to get living water into your body and feed all the trillions of cells in your body, because not only do the fruit and vegetable juices have the water that we need, they also have the nutrition that we need that many of the foods of today don't actually have. Let's go ahead and cut this open. Alright, check that one out. There's a nice watermelon right there. Now, one of the reasons why I like to juice watermelon is many people don't like to deal with the watermelon seeds. Now, you can put the seeds and all through the Fruitstar juicer, and small seeds like seeds in cantaloupes and watermelons and other melons, even apples and pears, of course, pomegranates, you can put through the machine. But if you have things like cherry pits or peach pits or, you know, nectarine stones or plum stones, those have to be removed. So small seeds are fine. Even orange seeds, lemon seeds, fine through the machine. As you can see, we got this open. I got this special tool here that's going to allow me to cut out a nice long strip of watermelon to put through the machine. First, let's go ahead and turn this machine on and take our cutter, and we're just going to go ahead and cut out a long strip of watermelon. And check this out. Check out how cool this is. Nice long strip, and we're just going to, whoa, feed it into the machine. And as you can see, we've got all our watermelon juice coming out. It's just pouring out, and we're getting very little fiber. Once again, that's because watermelon is mostly water. Now, while juicing the watermelon, I want to just go over a few of the things about the Fruitstar juicer by Tribest. This machine has a full 10-year warranty, so I like that a lot. It's very important to me that the manufacturer will stand behind the machine that you buy, and Tribest has been around for a long time, and a 10-year warranty is definitely a long warranty on the vertical single auger style machines. Warranties vary, and some companies have shorter warranties than others. As you can see, we're just feeding in sections of watermelon, and it's juicing up nice and easily. It's taking the seeds and spitting all the seeds out and the fiber out, but we're just getting a nice, delicious juice. And as you can see, we're just going to continue to take scoops out here and juice up this watermelon. So I'm just about finished juicing all the red rind in the watermelon. The Tribest Fruitstar has been doing an amazing job. I have run it through a little strainer and then bottled up my juices. Actually, here's a half gallon of watermelon juice. So this, the red of those watermelon here made a half gallon plus this much. And now you can see here I got only the green part left. One of the things I like to do before dealing with this is actually just pouring the juice out that's a residual. And once again, if you just saw the clip before where I said most of the nutrition in the orange is near the skin, well, guess where it is in the watermelon? Well, in my opinion, it's actually in the skin itself. Check it out. The watermelon is a melon, right? Related to cucumbers. You guys often eat your cucumber skins, right? But how many of you guys eat your watermelon skin? Now, you can juice the watermelon skin in your Fruitstar juicer to get the chlorophyll-rich nutrients that are in the skin of your watermelon. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and take our cutting board right here, and we're going to take a knife, and we're simply just going to chop up pieces of the watermelon skin. No longer do you need to waste the skin if you have the Fruitstar juicer. Cut this up into pieces and check it out. Run it right through the machine. Crunch it right up. It'll give you a nice, delicious green juice right in your glass. Now be aware that, you know, when juicing the skin, it's not so sweet, so it's going to taste more like a cucumber juice. But if you mix it in with the sweetness of the inside, or the red part of the watermelon, it's going to balance it out and it's going to be more neutral. So it's definitely going to be really good. I'm going to go ahead and juice the rest of this watermelon skin. I just got done juicing that watermelon rind. I mixed it with some of the watermelon juice, and now we have almost a gallon of watermelon juice just from that simple half of watermelon. Here's the 100% watermelon juice. Gonna be nice and so sweet. And on this side we have the green rind. So we got the chlorophyll-rich rind with the sweet watermelon juice. This is gonna be a lot less sweet. Definitely good and a lot more nutritionally dense, in my opinion, than just the watermelon. But it's all gonna be good stuff. So what I'm gonna do next is actually I'm just gonna go ahead and juice the other half of this watermelon. By that time we'll probably have 2 gallons of juice, which is insane. And then we're going to actually come back at you to make a vegetable juice. Now, as I've shown so far, the TriBest Fruitstar juicer is great for juicing fruit. But when we come back, I'll show you guys how good it does some vegetables. So I'm juicing the second rind, going pretty well. You can see I got a mixture of the green watermelon rind juice and the red juice. And this is going pretty well. Now, one of the things to remember when feeding things into the Fruitstar machine is you want to take your time. You don't want to just cram it in there, number one. You don't want to use a pusher. And even when not using a pusher, you don't want to just let things gravity drop in there. That may be feeding things in a little bit too fast. So we're just letting it take a bite off at a time, and we're letting it run and juice optimally. Here's the last piece of watermelon rind going right in. Now after this, what we're going to do is we're going to simply actually take a Pyrex measuring cup, and we're going to actually go ahead and strain the juice that came out through the included strainer to show you guys the amount of pulp that is created with the Fruitstar juicer. Now I want you guys to be fully aware of this. If you do buy a Fruitstar or any other vertical single auger style machine, they make the most pulp in the juice. So if you don't want pulp in your juice, you will not want to consider a vertical single auger style machine unless you're okay with filtering it out. That was the last piece in there. Looks like it juiced up really well. Now after feeding in the last piece, you always want to give the juicer some time to run to get the last bit of pulp out. We're going to go ahead and move this out of the way here. Turn out the machine. Once again, I like to do the quick change out. Take the pulp catch bin. Let me show you guys that pulp there. I mean, this is basically all the rind pulp. You can see some of the bottom is the watermelon pulp, but this is the rind pulp. I could barely squeeze out any juice out of that. So we're going to go ahead and put this underneath the catch, and now we're just going to go ahead and simply pour some of this through the strainer and give the strainer some time to work. Pour a little bit more in there, and you know, it's definitely catching some pulp in there. Here's the last of our juice getting strained through the strainer, and then I'll be able to show you guys the amount of pulp that still came out of the machine after, you know, the watermelon was juiced. Now, in general, the more fibrous the texture of whatever you're putting in the machine, so for example, carrots is the ultimate hard fibrous texture, the more pulp you're going to get. The softer the texture, like the red part of the watermelon, the least pulp you're going to get. Now, the rind is kind of more similar to the carrot in texture because it's nice and hard. You're going to get more pulp. So when I did the rind, I didn't nearly get this much pulp. So let's go ahead and shake this out a little. Sometimes I like to tap that down a little bit. Get some of the juice out of there. And I could flip like I'm flipping a burger. Woo! Look at that. Woo! Woo! That's a massive pulp there. That's pretty fun. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to take this pulp out. Boom! And there goes the pulp. You can see we got all this pulp here, and it's just basically, I mean, it's pulp. Some people will not like this texture in their juice. That's why the Fruitstar comes with an included strainer. Some people don't mind the texture. You know, me, I personally don't like the texture, but there's nothing wrong with drinking a little bit of extra pulp. Now, the juicer does actually remove all the fiber, and that's what this pulp is. We do need the fiber for roughage, but we can't digest nutrients, you know, that are locked in the fiber still, but it does help to clean us out. So when juicing, I also encourage you guys to eat a diet rich in fresh fruits and vegetables, both juiced, blended, and also whole. Anyways, we have some nice clean juice here. Let me go ahead and show you guys next how much juice that one whole watermelon made. So juicing that whole large watermelon you saw resulted in about 2 gallons of fresh watermelon juice. It's gonna be so delicious. Now check it out. This is the straight red part only, so if you got kids, this is what they're gonna like the most. Totally sweet. Then we have a couple different mixtures. I think this one actually has the most rind in it, and that's gonna be good because it has the chlorophyll, but also the sweetness to temper it out. And these two are actually somewhere in the middle. So I'm actually gonna try one of these guys, and once again, I did strain all these guys out because I don't like the pulp. That's delicious. Now, if you want to make your own watermelon soda, what you could do is you simply pour some of this, like 3/4 of the glass of the fresh watermelon juice, and actually I'd recommend this stuff because it's sweeter. A little bit of sparkling spring water. That'll give you a nice carbonated watermelon beverage, better than any soda out there. You guys saw how well the Fruitstar did with just juicing those fruits, and that's no surprise because after all, this is called the Fruitstar juicer, not the Vegetable Star, and not the Green Star. But the same company, Trivest, does have a Green Star, which is, guess what? Good for optimizing juicing leafy greens. So the Fruitstar is definitely good for juicing mostly fruit with some vegetables. So what we're going to do next is we're going to see how the Fruitstar does when juicing some vegetables. Now, if you want to juice a lot of vegetables and virtually no fruits, this is not the machine for you. You might want to go for something like the Green Star juicer. If you want to juice mostly fruits and a little bit of vegetables, then I'd probably say this is a good machine you want to consider because it does the fruits just great. So what we're going to do next is actually we're going to make a standard vegetable juice. And what we're going to do that, we're going to use 11 ounces of organic spring mix. We're going to use about a half dozen carrots. And those are the 2 vegetables we're using, and actually everything else we're juicing are actually fruits. So things like that Armenian cucumber has the seeds, remember, it's a fruit. Apples, and also we're going to use some peppers. So we got a bell pepper here and a hot pepper. So that's going to add some spice to our juice. Now the biggest problem the Fruitstar is going to have is with juicing leafy green vegetables. Specifically older, more mature leafy green vegetables with hard fibrous stalks. So what do I mean by that? Think celery, think kale, think collard greens, think chard. Anything that has nice large leaves and a nice long stalk. Those stalks have nice fibers, and those fibers will basically clog up the machine if you don't prepare them properly by using a knife. You need to basically cut up those fibers into 1/8-inch pieces before feeding them into the machine, or else you will get horrible results. So for that reason, if you do want to juice the greens, that's why they make the Green Star juicer, because that has pocket recessed teeth that'll actually cut the strings up for you so that you don't have to pre-cut them yourself. So that's why I chose the spring mix. Spring mixes are available at, you know, warehouse club stores and even regular grocery stores nowadays. They're nice and tender, and they're easier for us to digest because they are nice and tender, but they're also easier for the juicer to juice. So that's why I'm using those today. Another thing that's very important when juicing in the Fruitstar, or with any juicer for that matter, is proper produce selection. What do I mean by that? I mean that when you go to the store to buy apples, you know, you don't want to get the ones in the day-old bin, the ones that are soft or whatnot. You want to get nice, hard, firm, crisp apples. And these are the apples that are going to juice the best. In addition, you want to get hard and firm and fresh produce of everything you're juicing, including the leafy greens. Things that are wilted or soft or mushy, they're not going to juice well as things that are nice, hard, and firm. So we got some nice, hard, firm apples here. Another thing that's very important when using the Fruitstar juicer is rotating the produce you're putting in, especially when juicing leafy greens and the vegetable. That's critically important. So what we're going to do is actually we're going to go ahead and juice some greens first, and then followed by a little bit of carrot, and then followed by some apple and some pepper and some cucumber, and continue to rotate what we're putting in until we're all done with all the produce, instead of like putting in all of the greens, then all the carrots, and then all the apples. You want to put one piece of everything and rotate it a little bit at a time. So I guess we'll go ahead and get started. We'll start by cutting open these apples. And one of the questions I get is, hey John, can you juice the seeds in the apples? And yeah, the juice, most juicers can handle the apple seeds no problem. And some people say the seeds of the apples contain cyanide, things like that. You know, I think in small quantities, for me personally, I don't have a problem with it, but if you are paranoid, you may want to remove them. We've got that apple cut up into some small pieces that we can fit in the machine, no problem whatsoever. When juicing peppers, what you're going to want to do is you're going to take off the green part. So we got that green part popped off there. And then we can just basically cut this into quarters or halves. Looks like a nice pepper. And yes, you can juice the seeds of the pepper and the white pithy part. Once again, the white pithy part has a lot of nutrition in it too, so don't forget it. And on your hot pepper, you want to just take off the green part. And be aware, if you are juicing the skin, the seeds, and all the hot pepper, this will really kick up your juice and take it to the next level, if you know what I mean. So don't be juicing like 10 hot peppers unless you like things super hot. I don't want you guys to make juices that taste super nasty, because trust me, I've done that before. And one of the tips I'd like to give you guys is try to keep your juices really simple. Try to keep it under 5 ingredients at the most. You know, if you start putting everything but the kitchen sink in, it's kind of crazy and complex, and you know, you can make some stuff that tastes real bad. I do have another excellent video that is entitled something like, free juice recipes for life. So do a YouTube search for that to see that video where I actually share with you guys how to come up with your own juicing recipes. Definitely a good video to watch. The last thing we got to cut up is our Armenian cucumber. We'll cut this guy in half and check it out. These guys have nice and large seeds. We're going to just go ahead and slice this in half. Let me show you guys the inside of this. Now when these guys get large, they almost look like a melon on the inside, you know, like a honeydew melon. But these guys aren't sweet at all. But you could definitely juice the seeds and all in the Fruitstar juicer, because after all, this is just an oversized fruit. So we're going to cut that into quarters. Now we got all our different produce items assembled, ready to juice. We're going to turn this machine on, and we're going to go ahead and start by feeding in some spring mix. So I like to just take a couple handfuls of spring mix and put it right in the feed chute. Once again, you will notice I'm not using the pusher. We're going to feed this into the feed chute until it basically backs up on us a little bit, all the way up to the top, to get the whole feed chute full of the leafy greens. I think we could probably do about one more handful. Alright, there we go. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take the greens and we're going to push the greens in with a carrot. Now it's very important when selecting carrot to juice is to get a nice small diameter carrot to juice. You know, like a pencil, not like the big size of a Lincoln Logs. Those are getting too big. So what we're going to do is just push in the greens with the carrot, and we're going to let the juicer bite off a couple pieces of the carrot. Now I want you guys to listen to this. Hear that? When it chops it off, it goes chunk. But if you put a whole carrot in there and let it sit, it actually might back the juicer up. And maybe I'll show you guys that in a little bit. But once you do that, the carrot pulp helps push through all the greens. So we'll put that back aside. And you can see we got the greens and the carrot pulp ejecting. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put in an apple, followed by some of that cucumber. And once again, if you just drop it in, the machine sucks it in. This thing is literally self-feeding. That's why I like it a lot. You could be doing prep stuff while you drop something in. Give it some time to work, and that's another thing important when using the Fruitstar juicer. Don't just keep feeding stuff in as fast as you can do it. It's like you putting, you know, cookies in your mouth even though you're not done chewing and swallowing, right? Give the juicer some time to work. This is called a slow juicer and a silent juicer, and it needs some time to work before you keep flooding it with other stuff. So I think now we got everything up. We'll put a piece of pepper in here. And now we can put more greens in. So again, we'll take some nice large handfuls of greens. Now, leafy green vegetables are the most nutrient-dense foods on the planet, and I encourage you guys to eat minimum 2 pounds of leafy greens and vegetables a day. You might be thinking, wow, John, 2 pounds of leafy greens a day? That's a lot. Well, not if you juice them, it isn't. I mean, this was 11 ounces. Normally, these guys come in 16 ounces, and you could literally juice a whole tub of this in one shot. You'll have this much juice. Drink it up. You'll get the nutrition out of literally 1 pound of the greens, and then you just have 1 pound to go. And you can either blend that up, cook it up, or just make a salad out of some leafy greens. They're delicious and they're so nutritious for you. So you can see there, we just shoved in a whole bunch more leafy greens. We're going to put some more in there. And now next, what are we going to follow up with? A carrot, that's right. The carrot is the hard fiber it needs to push those leafy greens through. Oh, and see, if you feed the carrot in too fast, just like that, the machine stops. When this happens, don't be alarmed. You're going to turn the machine to the off position, let it sit there a second, then you're going to press reverse for just 1 second. It'll run the machine backwards, then put it forward. And it just chunks through that carrot, no problem whatsoever. I guess we'll go ahead and dump the rest of that carrot in there, followed by that apple, followed by some pepper, and once again, some more cucumber. So as you can see, I'm just simply rotating the produce that I'm putting through the machine one thing at a time until I'm completely done. I'm going to go ahead and juice the rest of this stuff, and I'll come back at you and show you guys the results. And I'm actually going to strain this juice out so you can see how much pulp is left in the juice. Alright, so we're just about done juicing everything. Almost got all our spring mix used up, and before we knew it, I got a whole pitcher of the green juice here. Put those greens in there. After you put greens in, what do you follow with? A carrot. Then let's go ahead and put a carrot in there. Now this machine is making a fairly pulpy juice, and it also stopped again. Once again, no big deal. Turn it to off, hit reverse for a second, hit on again. No problem. This is making a fairly pulpy juice. I can actually see pulp coming out in with the juice. We'll put a couple apples in there for sweetness because I doubt we'll get to juice the rest of this stuff because our collection cup is already full. And this collection cup holds about 4 cups of juice, and for me that's about 1 serving. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and put our apples here to the side and some of this extra stuff to the side. Move this stuff to the side for you guys. What we're going to do now is we're going to take our Pyrex measuring cup. We're going to let this run for a few seconds, let some of that last juice come out. Turn that off, and what I like to do is take out the juice catch and put the pulp catch so that we don't get any drips in there. We're going to use the included strainer, and we're going to pour some of this juice through the strainer. Alright, so we poured it in there, and now it's slowly draining off the pulp. What I like to do to expedite this is maybe just tap this down a little bit. That'll help move some of the juice through, and it'll leave all the pulp in the strainer there. This is taking quite a bit amount of time. Might be better to actually have a larger strainer here because there is, once again, so much pulp. So we pretty much got all the juice out, and I think we just got pulp left, so we're going to go ahead and put the pulp on our cutting board there, and we're going to go ahead and strain more juice. This is a nice, thick, rich consistency, so if you like a rich, full-bodied juice, this is definitely the juicer for you. It's rare that I see a juicer that actually makes this much pulp in the juice, you know, without straining. Alright, there's our next batch. How about some more juice through the strainer? Once again, we're going to shake this down, tap it down, try to get this to happen a little bit quicker. Alright, there's more pulp right there. Let's do it again. Alright, let's go for another time. Boom. Yeah, that's like a mud pie, but it's a pulp pie. If you got kids, they probably love eating it. Alright, I think we're probably good doing one more time. As we got to the bottom, it looked like there's less pulp in the bottom there. Yep, that's it. Alright, cool. Let's go ahead and shake the rest of this stuff out. And pretty much looks like we got 4 cups of juice here after we filtered out all the pulp. Alright, so there's our mud pies, our pulp pies. So that is a fair bit amount of pulp, so be aware if you do get the Fruitstar and you want to juice vegetables, it will leave a bunch of pulp in your juice. But once again, it's great for juicing fruits. Let me see and give you guys a taste test here. It's definitely a good recipe. That's one way you could definitely get your greens in you. Woo! Feeling that kick of that hot pepper there. So I hope you guys enjoyed this demonstration of the Fruitstar juicer, which as you saw is excellent for juicing fruits and does make a fair bit of pulp in the juice if you wanted to juice some vegetables. But if you like a pulpy juice, then the Fruitstar is for you. Otherwise, you may want to consider the other Trivest product called the Green Star Juicer, which is actually specifically designed to juice vegetables and does an amazing job at just that. Now, my personal opinion on juicing fruits is that fruits are probably best eaten whole or blended so that we retain the fiber, because the fiber does slow down the absorption of the sugar in there. Although it also depends on your alternatives. You know, definitely a fruit juice that you make in your own Fruitstar juicer far better than any Coca-Cola, bottled or canned juice, Twix bar, Snickers bar, candy bar, Oreo cookies, white bread. I mean, the main message that I want to get across to you guys today is that with the Fruitstar juicer, you can consume more fresh fruits and fresh vegetables in your diet, which are some of the most healthiest foods on the planet. Once again, my name is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Be sure to visit DiscountJuicers.com/YouTube for special promotional offers for our YouTube visitors.